What is up, guys? Welcome to 1010 Talk. So for the most part over the last few months, I've been pretty much ignoring most companies that come to me with watches. To be honest, most of them are shitters, and they're from overseas, and I've never heard of these brands before. But recently, a couple months ago, I got an email, a pretty lengthy, pretty personal email from Ben at MORA Watch Straps, who wanted to send me some NATO straps to try out. He gave a lot of reasons as to why he created these NATOs and why he thought there wasn't anything like these on the market. So you know what? I said, why not? They look pretty cool on the website, which I've linked in the description. I'll go ahead and check them out. And boy, am I glad that I did. So this isn't really an ad per se. Ben did send me 4 of his NATO straps, but I'm giving my honest opinion here when it comes to these NATO straps. So according to MORA, the actual weave that they use on these straps took quite a while to actually develop. They're really tightly woven and durable, but they're still very soft and extremely supple. I can tell you they're super comfortable on the wrist, and as you can see in that video just there, they have a floating keeper, which is really nice. One of the things that I really love about it too is that the buckle sits directly underneath the wrist. So with a lot of NATO straps, I'm sure you guys are more than aware, you find that the buckle kind of sits off to the side of your wrist instead of directly underneath, but the length of these straps allow for that buckle to sit perfectly underneath, just like you would be wearing a typical leather strap, or where the clasp would sit if it's perfectly positioned on your wrist. And one thing that I really do like in particular is that it has a really long tail, so you're definitely going to get a fold at the end. I find a lot of NATO straps are sort of in the middle ground, where if your wrist is a little bit bigger, you might find it hard to tuck in, or they might be a little bit too short to where you can't tuck in. These have that look that'll have that layered look on it, because it'll definitely have excess NATO strap at the end to tuck into those 2 buckles on the other side of your wrist. I think one of my favorite things about this strap has to be the 316L stainless steel that they use, the hardware. You can see here it's nice and square. It's pretty thick, but not too thick. It has a bit of a presence on the wrist. You can see the brushed version here. I had the polished hardware on my Speedmaster in the previous videos. What sets these apart as well is there's no spring bar in the NATO strap. It's a one-piece buckle that's completely woven in to the NATO. And according to MORA, they're not using anything that's just sort of off the shelf from manufacturers. They've really developed everything from the ground up, and you'll see a lot of NATO straps on the market today that sort of mimic what Blue Shark does, and it's almost like they went to the exact same manufacturer and they're trying to copy everything they do. If you guys aren't familiar, Blue Shark's definitely one of the top NATO makers out there. But MORA went a step further and sort of designed everything from scratch the way they wanted to do it. As I mentioned before too, they use the 316L steel, where a lot of other NATO makers use 304L steel. And another cool thing too is if you're sort of a little eco-friendly minded, they do use biodegradable, recyclable mail packages. As you saw earlier in the video too, they have this sort of like almost hemp style bag that it comes in, which is pretty cool for storing stuff in too as well. They're also located in Louisville, Kentucky, which is a selling point for me. I like that it's a US based company. Anyways, to be completely honest, I think this is definitely my favorite NATO strap that I've received so far. I actually personally wear a gray polished one on my Speedmaster all the time. Probably rate this number 1. I think a Blue Shark ultra thin seatbelt style is probably my second favorite NATO, and then in third place, I think Toxic NATO's Shiznit NATOs are pretty cool for more of that kind of rugged look rather than that premium look. The Blue Shark has that sort of shiny look to it if you're into that. But I can say for sure without a doubt that these are one of the highest quality accessories that I've received, purchased or owned for watches. Anyway, guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.